Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 524. I'm Brian Cohen from Author Ad School, joined once again by Lee Savino from the Millionaire Author Mastermind, also a very, very successful romance author. Lee, I'm so glad you're back. You've sold a lot of romance books.
I have.
Like, when's the last time you went and just like, because I know, you're at a certain number of figures. When's the last time you just like did select all, look at all sales, just to like be like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Well, I do these talks on millionaire author mindset and stuff. I'm going to be at InkersCon giving that talk.
Nice.
And so I have to go and like do that. So I'm like, okay, here's the number, to put up on the slide.
Yeah.
But I also had a career while I was having kids, and I ended up collaborating and co-writing.
Yeah.
So many of my books are not on my KDP.
Oh, so it's like your numbers, you can't even include all of them.
They're everywhere. The way I track, and this works for me, I'm very money motivated.
Yeah.
Is I track the money that hits my bank account.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny because I do nonfiction and fiction, and some of the nonfiction income is courses. It's very like, people be like, I've looked at Brian's sales ranks for his author books and he doesn't do that well. And I'm like, well, yeah, with that very limited, narrow thing, but the money hitting the bank account is a very different story. And so you need that full picture in order to truly know how it's going.
Yeah, and it all counts. Like what?
It all counts.
You're only going to count your money from Amazon. I once coached an author, and she said, my goal is to hit 6 figures. And I said, great. Where are you now? She told me, and I was like, well, wait, you're wide. What does your draft to digital say? What is your market? She was already at 6 figures.
Oh, that's so funny.
It was Ines Johnson.
I love Ines. She's so great.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me that she was already at 6 figures because she's such a rock star. But
come on, like you were so badass and awesome.
Need big goals, bigger goals.
And the other thing about rank, rank doesn't pay my bills. So sure, go look at my ranks. Guys, Renee Rose and I made 7 figures on our book series last year with no new releases, which is nuts to me, but we're selling on the store.
Yeah.
I don't need top 100.
Yeah.
I get that money. I spend, $100 on ads and I make back whatever, 100, even if it was $101, $150, whatever. I make that back within days.
Yeah. You're speaking my language, by the way. I love just like if you make $1 more, it's profit, it's hitting your bank account, and it's like, yeah, I love it. I'm happy you're here. Once again, I was already happy you're here, but now I'm even happier.
I'm excited. Let's talk Sell More Books.
All right, good. Challenge is, in its second week. AuthorsAdvertise.com. You can catch up. I guess today would be my advanced Amazon ads webinar that I do once a quarter. Come check it out. Ad School is open. AdSchool2024.com. We now have, you can get into Ad School Essentials for as little as $39 a month. You get daily Page Pals writing sessions. It's a whole lot of good stuff. So AdSchool2024.com. There was a question, another one, put out by your co-writer, Renee Rose. How could you find and flesh out the most potentially viral scenes from your next book? I'm going to ask you this question in a sec, Lee. Christy said, I tend to overdo things. I try to learn every new tip, have severe FOMO, and will work 7 days a week if I don't keep myself in check. Since realizing these were not strengths, I've set a Monday through Friday only. This is interesting. This doesn't feel like the answer to the right question. Because I'm like, my assistant does this, and I'm like, I don't think this is right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot, Lee, because I just started reading it, and I'm like, that's not the answer. So, Lee, while I look for the real answers,
Yeah.
what do you do to find and flesh out the viral scenes from, an upcoming book that you might be writing?
Yeah, at the last Anchors Con, Kat Mara talked about heartbeat moments. I love that term. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for that. And really, it came to her through TikTok because TikTok is 3 seconds, cause an emotion, right? Which
Yeah.
honestly should be like our blurbs, our ads. That's what Brian's trying to get us to do anyway. We're over here trying to like write another book in our blurb description. We got to fix that. But honestly, I have found I resist TikTok, guys. I totally do. But when I am in the zone and I am reading, like as a reader, like show up, entertain me, and I find myself going, "Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's good." Um, Watching the videos about these heartbeat moments, these really special, cool things. And of course, I'm on Dark Romance Book Talk, which is, so I can't even mention what those moments
Yeah,
are.
can't even talk about that. There'd be a lot of
Wild.
bleeping.
Yeah, or let's use dragons. It's like flying on the dragon and then drinking the magical elixir and turning into a dragon. Like those, like, yes, juiced up moments. What was interesting to me is I thought that was a spoiler. But in the world of
Nope.
TikTok, that is, wait, what? People will ask, what page is that on? And then they'll go and read 300 pages to get to it. Or maybe they just skip to that. I don't know what they do. But for me as a reader, I'm going, oh no, I want the full thing. And you can't ruin a song for me by playing the last chord. So it does work. It does.
Yeah.
So I personally am not sure how many viral moments I have in my books because I haven't really thought through that lens. This is such a great question. But when I have viewed things through the lens of TikTok, it actually helped me think up those heartbeat moments for my books because it's almost like I get in the brain space, in the flow.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I'm a big TikTok fan. And so I know I'll get sucked in if I spend too much time in there. But yeah, I mean, I've talked to LJ Andrews, who's a very successful romantasy author, and she learned so much from seeing what was going viral and kind of pulling ideas from that. And so I think TikTok may just be the answer for where we can find these viral moments.
I think it is. And really, it is. I had a friend the other day say, without TikTok, you're going to hit a certain level of growth and not go past it. There is a viral level of growth currently.
Yes, currently.
It might change in the next 5 minutes, probably.
Yeah.
Now that I've figured it out. But when I say I've resisted TikTok, I resist it because I do endlessly scroll as a watcher. And
Same.
then I resist putting up my own stuff. So if you're in that boat, I get it. But it definitely can help you put you in that marketing brain space where you're like, what is that heartbeat moment? What is that thrilling ride the dragon moment that is just so juicy? The readers, it's like, smelling the sizzle and they won't go and buy the steak.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Awesome. So we have got a top story near and dear to our hearts. So are you ready for today's story, Lee?
I'm so ready. I'm so excited.
Okay, cool. Writing with ADHD. If you're a writer just learning that you have ADHD, you're in luck because you can learn from the experiences of others, according to John Cook, on helping writers become authors. Quote, I thought I was broken, Cook said. I was a daydreamer. I couldn't focus on things everyone said were important. I focused intently on the wrong things, end quote. But after hearing an NPR story on adult ADHD in the workplace, Cook said my entire identity changed. ADHD can lead to distraction, difficulty organizing thoughts, procrastination, and impulsivity. And he'd seen what he could accomplish if he could manage it. Quote, I realized I could either run from my ADHD or embrace it, says Cook. I decided to lean into it, end quote. Cook structured his writing environment, broke down tasks into manageable goals, leveraged tech, embraced the ADHD creative benefits, and got the medical and community support he needed. Quote, Don't let anyone tell you ADHD is a curse. You can view it as a gift. You can embrace it, end quote. For more information about ADHD, including an online self-test, visit the link in our show notes. Hey, Lee, got anything to say about ADHD?
Oh, yeah. My ADHD had my mind wandering during that. No, I'm kidding.
Love it. Love it.
I wrote down a few things because I was like, that's good and that's good. And okay, so I will say for some of us, if you were socialized as a little girl, ADHD can present as hyperfocus. I honestly saw sometimes your weakness is your strength is your weakness. And ADHD was a superpower for me because that hyperfocus meant I was great at reading and taking tests. It wasn't so great for the people around me because you could scream my name and I would not hear you.
Yes.
So
yes, I've seen this in my household from everyone I live with, though no one is currently diagnosed.
Yes, and in my family, diagnosis is all over the place and also not happening. And also sometimes everyone in your family has ADHD, but you have it the least, so you don't realize you have it.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, no one you know, right? No, this is just a speculative. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I love that we talk about this because we all have brains and we all evolved like in a very different environment from where we are now, staring at a computer screen. And it's all data. Mental health, there's a huge stigma. And mental health issues run. I was just visiting with one of my aunts. She said, "Oh yeah, your cousin is bipolar." And I was like, "Wait a second. That means I have it on both sides of the family." But in our house, we're very science-minded and we're like, this is data. This is good to know. How can it benefit you? How is your weakness your strength and your strength your weakness? What can you do to just have the best come out and minimize the worst effects?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many authors I have spoken with who are ADHD. So many of the people that I work in Best Page Forward have ADHD and talk about it very openly. And it feels new-ish. Like only in the last couple of years did everyone just kind of figure out that they're neurodivergent in some way. It feels like that. I mean, like it seems like in the last year I've just seen like so many people talking about, oh, never diagnosed as a kid, currently diagnosed.
A lot of moms get diagnosed when their kids are diagnosed. That was what led me to seek my diagnosis. And then my friends were also telling me, my kids are in college and they're figuring this out and they're going, "Mom, you could get tested." And for this one friend, medication was very helpful. She said, I sat down and did all this work. And then I laid my head down on my desk and cried because I was relieved because I didn't have to suffer anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely recommend people get tested. People talk about this instead of just like, oh, I'm just weird. Like maybe you're just weird, but maybe you're ADHD and weird, and you can learn. And weird is amazing.
Neurodivergence is a superpower. I just saw a study. They're studying ADHD and they said, well, what are the benefits? Why did we evolve this way? And I think it was a small study, but it was interesting. They said they put people picking blueberries in a blueberry bush, which I've done with my grandma. So this was very near and dear to my heart. Yeah. And I was like, they're picking the blueberries and the ones with ADHD would move on faster. They wouldn't thoroughly clean the bush, but they got more berries because they were like hopping to the next and they were moving.
Yeah.
And I have this very clear memory of my Nana, who definitely her and her father had intense something like get up and go. We used to call it the Skinner nerve. I don't know what it was, or the nerve. We were just like, go. And then my papa was very slow and methodical. So he would get every last blueberry. But my Nana was like, it was a race. She was going to fill all the cartons with blueberries and get to all the trees, and all the trees would have blueberries left, I guess, for the birds. But they found that the people with ADHD who were hopping from bush to bush gathered more blueberries. So there was an evolutionary advantage to us going this way. So what are the advantages in today's climate? There are advantages.
Oh, there are absolutely advantages. I love this. Okay. So, question for you, hot potato wisdom, Lee. Obviously, even though there are a lot of writers that do have ADHD, you don't need ADHD to benefit from some of these tips of leveraging technology, setting up your writing environment. Do you think there's one tip from above, or even something that you've pulled in from your experiences that non-ADHD writers would benefit from?
Yeah, I think for ADHD, it can be helpful to have someone mirror, meaning
Mm.
I'm going to show up to do a writing sprint and Brian is too. And it helps me focus because he's like, all right, the timer is set. And I do this with friends right now and they find it very helpful. There are even companies online where you just show up and do this with a stranger.
Yep, I've seen this. Like Cave Day. Yeah.
Yeah. And it can be very motivating. I would suspect there's a little bit of peer pressure.
Yes.
And for me, it's like, oh no, I'm going to show up because my friend needs to finish their book and they need me to show up on a Monday. And it's also community and fun. So win-win.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's a great tip for anybody. I totally agree. You've got a question for me here, Lee.
Yes. So Brian, do you have a tool or application that's led to increased productivity for you?
Two things that have helped me when combined leading to increased productivity. I do work sprints. That's the amount of time I know I can focus for, about 20 to 30 minutes. I try to make it so my timer ends when it's a 5 or a 0, like it's more rounded that way. So like if it's like it ends at 11:15, it's like great. Okay. So I will listen to brain.fm to focus me with the music without any lyrics. And then I will set a timer to end after 24, 26, 28 minutes. And I get so much more done by combining those two things. I'm sure there's other cool apps, other things I could try, but sometimes the simplest combinations are the best.
Love it. Brain FN is so great.
Yeah, I love it. There are certain things that, the Apple notification comes up. You have to pay whatever to get the premium of this. I'm like, some things like that, I just don't hesitate on.
Yeah, actually, I got a Black Friday deal, lifetime deal. So check that out.
Ah, awesome. Yeah, look for that next Black Friday.
Again. Yeah.
That is smart. I'm being told I have internet difficulties, even though I can see you.
Me too. It might be on my end.
Let's see. We'll see. It's waiting until we have a stable connection. We're going to just wave our hands and see if it can figure it out. Magic.
We're magic.
That's the thing. We're seeing each other. Okay, it seems like it's back. It probably recorded all that, which is great.
Awesome.
So it's time for the lightning round, Lee. I'm glad our internet became more stable because I need another lightning sound from you.
All right. Choo-choo!
Ooh,
it sounds like
good.
Pikachu again. Yeah.
It sounds like Pikachu. Pikachu is back. I love a good Pikachu sound effect. It's good. We're in augmented reality Pokemon Go. Okay. So, Lee, question for you. How do you get past imposter syndrome?
Oh, what an easy question.
I know. What a great question to fit in 60 seconds, right?
Okay, so this is what I got for you. Imposter syndrome is great because it's telling you that there's something you want and you're telling yourself, I want that, but I don't think I can have it. Right? So if you just remove the second part, you're just left with really great knowledge, really great data. And I would say finding your tribe, getting around other authors, listening to this podcast, your brain naturally wants you to conform to a tribe, and your tribe can be anyone, anywhere in the world on the internet, right?
Right.
So connecting, even if you're watching the top authors and getting on their mailing lists and going and seeing them live when they show up on Facebook Live or TikTok or something like that, your brain will think that they are your tribe and it will start to conform you. And I kind of already gave this advice, but I think one, imposter syndrome is a gift. It's telling you something. So that's helpful to shift your mindset around it. And then two, realize you have the power to create your tribe.
This is such great advice, Lee, because there's such a stigma around imposter syndrome, but I love that you kind of just changed it as it's a good thing. It's really pointing you in the right direction, and that's awesome.
Good. I'm not sure if I'm satisfied with my answer. I'm going to noodle on it more.
Noodle on it more. It's okay. It's okay to noodle. It's tough, right?
Imposter syndrome? About my imposter syndrome?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what Becca Symes says? Imposters can't have imposter syndrome of their imposter syndrome or something like that.
That's the best advice right there.
Yeah. True imposter syndrome imposters can't have imposter. Okay. You have a question for me, Lee.
Yes. Brian, do you think that physical activity is good for authors?
So I used to think, when it comes to physical activity, okay, as long as I get a walk in, I'm good. Because, I'll clear my head with the walk. That'll be enough calories burned, whatever. Totally have changed my mindset on this. Because I went to, this was, I don't think I've shared this on the show. 2021, 2022, I lost about 40 pounds. And I was like, okay, I did this through diet, little bit of exercise. And I'm like, okay, I need to see where I'm at. So I went to a body fat scan place. So they repurpose these bone density scanners to determine where's the muscle in your body, how much fat do you have. And despite having lost all that weight, I was still like way too high on the body fat. And so I realized, well, what was I missing? And it was strength training. It was using weights. It was resistance on my body. I had always been a runner and all this stuff, but I did used to lift weights when I wrestled. And I just realized, okay, my brain functions at so much of a higher level when I am doing strength training. My general energy levels are higher. And we keep thinking about, well, how can we hack our way into more energy? How can we get that special coffee? How can we do whatever? When it comes down to it, it is about increasing the resistance on your body. And so many good things can happen from that.
I love that, because after this, I'm going to go lift weights.
Yes, go lift weights. I'm going to tell you all about it.
Tell me all the benefits. I hired a trainer because I was doing so much yoga. I came out of a period of a lot of sedentary work, obviously sitting and writing, sitting and having babies like in my arms. And my body actually needed more than what you said, the walk around the block. And then for me, it was also yoga. I needed to build that muscle. So it has been a game changer as far as pain relief and sleep quality.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you're doing that, because it's been great for me.
Because I'm money motivated. And if I'm like, I'm not wasting that money, I'm going to show up and I'm going to drink my smoothie beforehand so I have energy to live.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of money motivated, so what, if any, non-writing or non-business related tasks do you outsource in order to have more time writing or working on your business?
Great question. Someone is cleaning my house right now.
Yes.
The issue is then we walk in and the house is so clean and my husband's like, we have to eat out. We can't eat in the kitchen. I'm like, don't touch anything. Like, we have to leave because our house is clean. We have to keep it clean. It'll last like a couple of hours otherwise.
Yeah. How with kids, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is actually, a lot of authors say, I need to delegate my ads, or I need to delegate marketing. I just want to write. Guys, it is really easy to delegate house cleaning, meal prep, babysitters, nannies, pet sitters, dog walkers. Those are kind of low-hanging fruit when it comes to delegation. Whereas some of the bigger chunks, like in our business, aren't as easy to delegate. So delegate the low-hanging fruit, like the personal services. You can have someone just come and do your laundry. Like,
yes, you can.
What is the pain point? And it might be a lot cheaper than you think.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper than you think, and the amount of mental burden you are having from that being on your list of things you have to do, that costs a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. So you free up time and mental energy, and then you go and make 10, 100 times what the service cost.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You've got a question for me, Lee.
Yes. So, Brian, we talked about exercise. So, do you think that food and diet are important to consider for authors?
I think that so many authors do not consider what they put into their bodies. They're drinking too much caffeine and too much sugar, and there is just not, and as Lee covers her face, there is a problem in that is not going to be sustainable. And it does cause damage to have that much caffeine and that much sugar. I have reduced my caffeine. I started doing a coffee substitute called Rasa that still has a little bit of caffeine, but is packed with like adaptogens and mushrooms and things that are supposed to reduce your stress. Because I was having way too much stress, even with just a couple of cups of coffee. And then you talked about outsourcing meal prep, Lee. I have my meals delivered every week. And it's amazing. And I started doing this in 2021 when a friend of mine told me I had put on too much weight. And that night I ordered these meals from a company called Fresh and Lean. And it's been so amazing. And I don't really save that much time because I still cook for my wife and daughter. But as far as making sure I'm always getting vegetables and protein into my body, game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. The convenience. And remember, you go to a grocery store and all the foods that are bad for you, they've been created in a lab to be like really enticing and addictive. So you're
Yes.
having to kind of overpower like all these marketers and scientists and the best brains in the industry who are like working against you so that you can just not look at the Doritos and go get an apple. So I like,
Yeah.
making it easy because so often I'm like, what have I eaten today? Is there anything in the fridge? Oh, I have to make it. So I am going to reach for something more convenient.
Yeah.
And then I wonder
Yeah.
where my energy is.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, final question, Lee. If an author can't quite picture themselves as a millionaire in the future, what can they do to work their way up to that mental picture?
Well, first, I want to point out if you've been working at a job or somewhere, you probably already made a lot of money, possibly even $1 million in your lifetime. You just want it faster. You want it to come in faster. So if that helps, yay. The other thing, you've heard of maybe a dream board. I'm a fan of a dream bank account. Print off a bank statement, add some zeros. I track all my money. I track cash in my bank account. And in the future months, so whatever month I'm in is whatever the reality is. And then the next month is just millions and millions of dollars. I play with numbers. It doesn't even matter the numbers. You want to play with it and see what comes up. And just by noticing it, honestly, your subconscious is paying attention and going, oh, wait, it's normal. It's normal to have 20,000 in your bank account. It's normal to have, $1 million coming in or something. You can normalize this.
I
And
love that.
it's really magical. Now, your husband will look at you weird if he finds those bank statements lying around. But now my husband works for me and those amounts are in my bank account and I'm not scared of it. In fact, I feel weird when there's less than 50,000 in my business bank account.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a business, actually, like millions is not a lot of money when you
I
think as a
know.
business owner. So you start to shift that, and I'm a big fan of like, how do you get your subconscious working for you? Change your tribe, normalize different numbers.
Yeah.
They're not any scarier. They're just different. Honestly, the scariest numbers in my bank account had minus signs and it was like all red and it was negative. When I started this, I did not have money. It was negative. I was overdrafting in my bank account. And that was way scarier than having, $70,000 payment come in.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It is awesome to play around with your subconscious in that way because it's all possible. We just have to kind of coax our brain into that direction a little bit at a time.
Yeah, normalize it. And honestly, guys, play with it.
Yeah.
Do it as a joke. Like, you don't have to take it seriously. It honestly will work better if you're having fun.
Wise words, Lee. We need a question of the week. Do we want to ask about the ADHD?
I did, but then I was thinking broader, like what productivity apps or tech or hacks do you have? Because I want to know.
Yeah, no, use it. What productivity hacks have helped you get more done?
Yes.
Awesome. Great question. You can answer it at sellmorebookshow.com or in the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. Lee of the wonderful Millionaire Author Mastermind, which all of you should go check out. You also have this new podcast you're starting.
Yes, that's why I have a podcast hat.
Is that out into the world? Should people go find that?
It will be out very soon. It's called the 6-Figure Author Experiment. You can go to the sixfigureauthorexperiment.com. Russell Nolte has made money on Kickstarter, and his books are largely not on Amazon. And my books are on Amazon, and I was mad. I was like, why? Why would you not do this? Amazon is money to me. So we're doing an experiment. Again, we're playing with it. We're having fun. And we're saying, what is it like to launch all these books that have already been launched on Kickstarter, to build a new audience on Amazon? And let's fail in front of everybody. And then I said, Russell, we're going to fail at failing because, this is a proven concept. The books have made money. So come and watch us fail, because then we'll flip it and I'll do a Kickstarter and put myself out there in the hot seat, and he'll be advising me. We already have like launch checklists and all sorts of merchandising ideas, and it's just good fun. So if you can find us at the sixfigureauthorexperiment.com, or I think it's just 6, or you spell out SIX.
Or they'll look it up wherever podcasts are, but 6-Figure Author Experiment.
Fine.
That's awesome. It's going to be really fun. I love podcasts like that. I think they're fantastic. So awesome. As I'm about to start sneezing here on the show, Lee, it's been so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. I was going to say, I'm glad you think it sounds fun, because you're 500 plus episodes into a podcast and you would know.
Yeah, it's great. The first 6 years are hard, but no, it's going to be great. You're going to have a good experience with it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. For Lee, I'm Brian. Go check out adschool2024.com. I hope everyone has a great week of book selling. We'll be back, episode 525. I think it's Alessandra Torre is going to be here next week. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you for 525, everybody. Bye.
Bye.